Hello. I got some bad news for you. You're going to have to give something up. You're going to have to let go of something you like. What is that thing that you use, that we use almost every day to keep us going? It's caffeine. And it's terrible for you. You're going to have to give up caffeine. You're going to have to lay off the coffee, lay off the tea, lay off the energy drinks, lay off the pills. You've got to lay off the caffeine. It's terrible for you. Why is it terrible for you? Several reasons. Number one is obvious. It's addictive. Number two, it's a stimulant that masks other issues. Number three, it's not good for longevity. Number four, we'll just talk about all the diseases and why. But I will give you some advice on how to quit. I know it's unfortunate. I know we love our teas. I know we love our energy shots. I know we love our other teas. And I know for a fact we love our coffee. But here's the thing. The addictive nature of caffeine is a significant problem. The thing about caffeine is it gives your body stimulation that you didn't create. It's an artificial feeling of energy. The way it works is caffeine intensifies the metabolic process. It gets your adrenal glands all fired up, and it forces you to burn sugar that you normally wouldn't have been burning. It reaches into your glycogen stores in your muscles, it reaches into your liver, and it pulls whatever sugar it can to help you kind of get through the moment. What you think is great, right? But when that sugar is gone, it needs to be replaced. So usage of caffeine is followed by a lot of sugar intake or the craving for sugar because you've given up the base level of your sugar. Not to mention, what happens is you get your adrenal glands all fired up. So it's kicking out all this energy, all this adrenaline. But what goes up must come down. And when you come down off the caffeine, your adrenal glands are depleted and they're malfunctioning. So the next time you need to create that energy, you won't be able to do it as well without a stimulant. Caffeine lies to you. It makes you feel like you have energy that you don't deserve. If you have energy and you haven't eaten properly, you haven't slept properly, and you're not in good shape, you probably don't deserve that energy. And the things that you're doing by just perpetuating the caffeine intake is drawing attention away from the fact that you really need to be doing those other things. If I need energy and I can get it from caffeine, why should I eat healthy? Why should I work out? I have energy anyway. But once you get off the stimulants, once you get off the caffeine, you will feel tired. And guess what? You need to figure out another way to deal with that. I call it an energy strategy. It's very basic. You monitor what goes in, you monitor your hydration, you monitor your sleep. But you'll never be forced to have that assessment if you're always getting your next fix. It's extremely addictive. And we also have the tolerance phenomenon. We understand tolerance, right? So whatever dose it took me to feel a certain way, now it takes more because my body is used to it a little bit. The problem with caffeine is as your tolerance increases, your ability to deal with the chemical effects does not. You just don't feel it as much. All the damage is still getting done. It's still constricting your veins and then opening them back up. It's still putting pressure in your eyes. If you ever had too much caffeine, your eyes feel strange. That's because it squeezes the veins in your eyes and creates pressure that shouldn't be there. Long term, obviously, that leads to glaucoma, blindness. It's horrible for you. It's absolutely terrible. When we do studies of people who live a long time, when we look at the people in the blue zones, those are the areas of the world where people habitually live to 100 years old or more. We find that they do drink coffee and tea. They do intake caffeine, but nowhere near as much as we do here in America. They're not doing it every day. They're not going to Starbucks, getting something that's more sugar than caffeine, but both to double the effect. They do drink tea, but there's levels in caffeine intake, right? When they're drinking their caffeine, they're probably drinking something like this, a green tea, something like that. And it has right on there the amount of caffeine. Each tea bag contains 35 milligrams of caffeine. That's a small amount. The average cup of coffee has about 90 milligrams. This thing, the extra strength 5-hour energy, 224 milligrams caffeine. That's why it says right on the bottle, don't exceed 2 per day. Because the FDA realizes that at 500 milligrams, things get real bad real fast. But what you need to realize is that things get bad slowly just by having smaller amounts. But it's a less perceptible damage. What else do we need to know about caffeine? So the typical American, we're getting in like 350 milligrams a day. That's about 4 cups of coffee, 2 or less energy drinks, the little ones. Or some folks use diet pill stimulants, different types of teas, darker teas. The darker the tea, the higher the caffeine content. In this example, this one is 61 milligrams per cup. But again, way less than coffee. If you want to judge caffeines, coffee is the absolute worst. So you got to get off the caffeine. So let's talk about the caffeine effects on your long-term health. It's horrible for your heart. It's bad for your heart in the short term. If you've taken a lot of caffeine, you've noticed that sometimes your heartbeat is faster than it should be. That's a sign of too much pressure. That's a sign of veins and arteries malfunctioning. Just because it doesn't hurt, it doesn't mean it's not a problem. If you've ever had caffeine in your eyelid start to twitch, that's because the electrical system of your body is malfunctioning due to the acid in your system from the caffeine. It's a problem. And over the long term, you give up control of your nervous system. You're going to have problems in your stomach. When you use caffeine, it creates a very acidic environment. You're going to have way too much stomach acid. You're going to have way too much acid in your body, generally speaking. So if you're not compensating that by drinking alkaline water or making sure you eat foods that are good to maintain a good pH balance, you're going to get stomach problems. You probably already had heartburn. You probably already had indigestion. These are all clues. They're all signs. Other things that's going to go wrong with your gut, it's going to give you ulcers. No one's afraid of any of these things until they get them. And then when they get them, they suck. No one's afraid of the word ulcer until they feel one. It's also a diuretic. So whatever nutrition you do have, it's going to get forced out through the violent process of using the bathroom when you shouldn't be doing it. Along with that goes whatever vitamins and minerals that you should have that's being purged by caffeine. And of the obvious dehydration effect of that, we're not even going to discuss the importance of being hydrated. If you don't understand that you're supposed to be hydrated at this point, I've wasted a lot of time. So let's say you decided to quit. Let's say my information is good enough. And you decided to quit. How do you quit? First thing you want to do is you want to mitigate the symptoms. When you do lay off the caffeine, you're going to get headaches. So you need to find a non-stimulant solution for your headaches. Maybe you're going to take some Tylenol. Maybe you're going to take aspirin. Or maybe you're going to take an NSAID like Motrin or naproxen. Do something to treat the headache specifically. Just mitigate the symptoms. They will fade. Obviously, what you want to do also, you want to wean yourself. You don't want to just go from drinking 10 cups of coffee a day to none. You don't want to go cold turkey. Mentally, you may be able to tolerate it. I doubt it. You may be able to. But physically, you're going to shock your system. And that's not good. It's going to put you into a withdrawal state that is almost unbearable. And it will break you or actually hurt you more. So you want to wean yourself off. The way you do that is you measure your caffeine intake. Right? I already gave you some numbers. So if you have a little energy shot, that's 200 milligrams. If you have 2 of them a day, that's 400 milligrams. So you say, okay, today I have 400 milligrams. Tomorrow, I must have less than 400 milligrams. 350, 300. That which gets measured gets managed. And then you get yourself down to a point where you'll have 30 milligrams, 20 milligrams. And by then, you shouldn't feel any effect at all when you're without it. Go through it. Go through the parts of it that suck. Allow yourself to experience that. Far too often, we don't allow ourselves to be uncomfortable. Be uncomfortable. It's worth it. And there's some other tricks out there to help you quit caffeine. You can do right nose breathing. It's where you cover your left nostril and you only breathe through your right nostril. Do you know what that does? That's a natural stimulant. What? I'm going to get energy from breathing through my right nostril? Yep. And guess what? The opposite is also true. So make sure you pay attention. If I do left nostril breathing, it has a relaxing effect. You don't believe me? Google it. And the last thing, you can use magnesium. You can have a magnesium supplement to help you mitigate the effects of caffeine withdrawal. Bottom line is, you got to lay off the caffeine. You got to give it up. Caffeine's terrible for you. It's bad for your heart. It's bad for your brain. It's bad for your eyes. There are ways to wean yourself off of it and mitigate the symptoms, and you'll be healthier for it. Lay off the caffeine.